right? It's an addiction. I've been doing it in post shows on the nons.
All right. We ready? Am I recording?
Oh, am I recording? Nobody asked me to record.
Are you recording?
Am I recording?
Are you recording, Anthony?
Should I be recording?
I don't think so, but...
How does it all work?
No,
We should
I
all
hear
record
myself.
just in case.
I'm going away.
Are you recording, El Khalif? Are you recording, BioCow? All right, here we go.
The Daily Tech News Show with Tom Merritt is brought to you by wonderful, awesome patrons like you. If that's not you, join this party now. Go to patreon.com/AceDetect and give a little, because it helps a lot. That's patreon.com/ACEDTECT. Hit the button, Tom.
This is the Daily Tech News for Monday, August 25th, 2014. I'm Tom Merritt. Joining me today, co-host of We Have Concerns, Mr. Anthony Carboni. That's 2 days in a row you have been on one of my podcasts, sir. You are glutton.
I'm just going to keep following you around until you admit we're friends. That's it.
Damn it. I was gonna string you along for...
I'm like that kid who sits with you at lunch every day and just moves closer and closer at the table.
I've just been tricking you into doing all my shows. He'll be on autopilot soon, and then It's a Thing, and then The Real Deal will be resurrected. No, man, I am definitely your friend. I'm not hesitant to say it, and too bad. You're stuck with me now. I am happy to have you on the show. We Have Concerns launching their Patreon this week. That's why we had you and Jeff Kanata on Cord Killers yesterday, so we'll talk a little more about that in a bit. But we've got breaking news happening right before the show. We'll get to that in the headlines. This isn't that breaking news, though. Facebook announced today it's altering its news feed algorithm to combat clickbait. Facebook's algorithm will note when a high number of people click on a link and then come right back to Facebook because they're disappointed. They'll also note if links receive low numbers of comments and likes, and those are signs of clickbait. Facebook's algorithm will then not hesitate to demote such links after enough people have been suckered into clicking and proving it's clickbait. So,
Does Facebook even know what they would be without clickbait? Can they even envision a future where they don't have any clickbait on the site? How does that work?
You're asking if they've thought this through?
I'm just asking if they have a realistic idea of who they are now.
Yeah, like if you get rid of are you sure you want to do this, Facebook? Well, no, I think what they're trying to do is say we don't want people in the news feed to not trust any links and feel sad all the time.
Right.
So we want to. It's not Facebook that wants to stop doing clickbait. We want to stop people from leaving Facebook for clickbait.
Well, and that's the thing how does Facebook, this algorithmically decides what is link bait, but I would imagine that there are going to be sources from within Facebook or trusted sources that are going to be immune to this sort of algorithm.
Yeah. We'll talk about that actually a little more in a bit. Another story we're going to be talking about in the main section as well. Ars Technica spent the morning collecting all the news outlets whose sources swore this time Twitch is really getting bought by Amazon, not Google. We know they said it was Google earlier this summer twice, but this time the source familiar with the situation was absolutely briefed on the matter. The price was reportedly $1 billion still, so it felt like they had just ripped off the earlier Google story and put Amazon's name in it, but it's true this time. An announcement came around 1 p.m. Pacific time in a blog post from Twitch CEO Emmett Shear confirming the deal. He wrote that they chose Amazon because they, quote, believe in our community, they share our values and long-term vision, and they want to help us get there faster. Kind of what Oculus wrote when Facebook acquired them.
I think Amazon just knows less about what they're getting into than Google does. I think Google has too many video rules.
Twitch was like, oh, Amazon will let us do whatever we want.
Yeah.
We should totally pick Amazon.
Absolutely.
Twitch will remain an independent company owned by Amazon, or so they say. We'll talk about that some more in a bit as well. According to Engadget, TiVo is releasing a limited edition Romeo OTA DVR, the OTA standing for over the air. The device will cost $50. You still have to pay the $15 a month subscription for TiVo's channel guide. Just like the $150 more expensive Romeo that I bought for $200, this one allows you to do everything but have a cable card slot. You get over-the-air channels, 500 gigabytes of storage, 4 tuners. You have compatibility with the TiVo Stream device for streaming live and pre-recorded videos to other devices. It just doesn't have the cable card slots. That's the only difference. And apparently that means cable card slots are worth $150.
I heard DVR, and I got to be honest, I just kind of zoned out. I'm sorry, Tom.
Like you just don't even want to deal with having to fast forward through things, huh?
I just don't even care about DVRs. I don't know. That's fine. Cool. Cheap DVR.
I'm cheap, so it gets me certain things for free over the air because I'm lucky enough to live in a place that gets good reception that I would otherwise have to pay for.
I just think so little about broadcast TV and actual real over-the-air cable or live cable TV anymore that I don't even see what I want to DVR.
Do you know how many episodes of Dragnet I can record though?
New one or old one?
The old one.
Old one.
Yeah.
I feel like you can get those somewhere, Tom.
For money, maybe. Not this cheap ass. Reuters passes along a report from Xinhua, that China plans to release another operating system of its own by October. The first version would be for desktops. China has done that before, actually. They have their own distro of Linux. But later would come an OS for mobile devices. There's also talk of an app store. They sound very Microsoft, like we want to have a unified kernel here. Ning Guangnan, head of an official OS development alliance established in March, hopes that domestically developed software could replace desktop OSs within 2 years and mobile operating systems within 3 to 5 years.
Wouldn't it be interesting if what it really took to get rid of fragmentation among personal computers was communism? Horrible, oppressive communism is really all we need to make standards stick.
All the open source advocates in the audience are like, "Is that a dig at us? Is he talking about us?"
Who knows? Who can say?
They're pulling on their beard. Well, it makes me think that because I remember the big deal. This was still back when I was at Tech TV, so a long time ago. Was China first coming up with a Linux distribution? It was something Red OS or something like that, very communist sounding. And everybody thought like, whoa, what if that's the distro, right? What if they crack it? Would we trust it, et cetera, et cetera? I feel like they just do this every 10 years as an exercise to kind of tamp down the enthusiasm of foreign companies or something.
Yeah, or just like, can we really lock everyone down finally? Is this the way we're going to do it? Nah, probably not.
BBC reports on denial of service attacks carried out over the weekend against pretty much all of the popular game networks out there. PlayStation Network, Xbox Live, Battle.net, League of Legends, a ton more, EVE Online. At the same time, John Smedley, president of Sony Online Entertainment, had his plane diverted to Phoenix after a bomb threat. No one was hurt. Multiple groups have claimed responsibility for the attacks, and the United States FBI is investigating. Do you happen to run into this?
About PlayStation Plus. I feel like it's affordable, you know? There's no need to bomb a plane, guys.
Yeah, well, seriously, like multiple
groups... Do they
groups...
feel like these things are connected, or is this just coincidental?
Well, one Twitter account claimed responsibility for both the plane thing, because they tweeted the bomb threat, as well as the attacks, but they also claimed the attacks for different reasons. One was on behalf of the Islamic State, and the other was just because they're angry at game companies for being greedy. So I feel like it's hard to tell if they're really responsible and just kind of trolling, or if they're just picking up on who's doing this stuff and trying to pretend like
there is a large Venn diagram between gamers and trolls online. And I feel like they're very savvy at like taking responsibility for things and throwing out a lot of disinformation and just laughing and laughing and laughing. So I'm interested to see what the FBI finds. Yeah,
it would be interesting if the FBI can actually uncover something this time. Time for some news from you. These are submitted to our subreddit, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com. SP Sheridan posted the geek.com article about 4 NC State University undergrads developing nail polish that can detect drugs. Ankesh Madan, Stephen Gray, Tasso von Winheim, and Tyler Confrey Maloney developed a polish they call Undercover Colors. The polish contains chemicals that react to rohypnol and GHB.
Rufinol, Tom.
And change colors in its presence. I wouldn't know, Anthony.
I'm not saying why I do know. That's not I don't have to tell you anything.
The point is, nothing has been proven.
I'm a good person.
The point is, though, if you're getting these drugs in your drinks, you can have the nail polish on and just dip your finger in, and then if it changes color, you're like, oh, I'm not drinking that.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
I think that's super great. As somebody who has a younger sister and nieces in college right now, I'm like, release that immediately. Do it.
No, this is great stuff. And well marketed. Like the bottle looks good. It's called Undercover Colors. Like
I may wear it myself just to make sure I'm getting what I pay for.
I'll be honest,
You know
I was
what I'm
thinking the
saying?
same thing.
Just
You
like
know?
a little boop boop. Are you trying to scam me? What's going on here?
Whoa now. Yeah.
got
Who
it.
made that drink? Do you trust your bartender? Check it out. Acid Beaver 85 passed along a VentureBeat story that Coin has changed its mind about double charging long-waiting backers. They first announced that the finished product is not only going to be delayed until spring 2015, that's still true, but that backers who'd already paid like years ago would have to pay again if they participated in the beta. That didn't go over so well. So
I
Coin,
canceled mine.
did you end up canceling? I didn't cancel mine.
You know why? Because it's just delay after delay after delay, and we're getting so close to chip and pin right now that it's like, what am I going to use this for? I'm going to use it for my grocery store club card. I don't need to do that for $100.
Right, because it won't work for credit card with chip and pin,
Right.
which everybody outside of the United States pin, and yes, that's right. In the United States, mostly we don't.
And I mean, it's still going to be useful because the deadline for implementing chip and pin and the actual day and date in the U.S. when we will all have chip and pin is probably a few years apart. But I don't care anymore. I don't care about Coin anymore.
I am only caring in a journalistic sense. I paid for it a long time ago. I'm going to let it come. I'm going to see how useless or useful it ends up being. And I will not have to pay to be in the beta. Now, that was the deal, is you get in the beta for free if you were a backer, but then you'd have to pay $30 to get the coin at the end. For the final version, now they're saying no. Any backer that's already pre-ordered this can be in the beta and still get the final product without charge.
That's a good move on them because that was kind of like, I understand why they thought that was cool, and it just was not cool. So I'm glad they changed it.
Yeah. Mac Bytes flags us to the Verge article about LG's plan to announce a circular smartwatch next week.
I'm gonna release a trapezoidal one.
Just
I'm
hold
going
on.
dodecahedron. Let's do
Baby
this.
steps, Anthony.
No. I must
the-
be the best. This is like the razor companies. We've got 9 blades. We're a circle. We're a diamond.
How many
Doesn't
sides?
matter, dude.
We got to start with the circle, though, right?
Yeah,
the LG
sure.
G Watch R, presumably the R stands for round, will come with a button on the side, unlike LG's original square smartwatch.
Does anybody else think that smartwatches just sound dumb? This watch is going to be a circle with a button.
Yeah.
You man, that's just
It'll also have a second
watch.
hand, if you believe the Mac. It'll also have a digital step counter, distance meter, and compass. The video also seemed to tease that the display would be a perfect circle
So what?
without the weird black bar at the bottom that the Moto 360 was having when it was teased at Google I/O. Well, here's the thing, right? I mean, you're rightly laughing because I'm not convinced, and maybe it's just me and Anthony, but I'm not convinced that the demand is there for these things yet. I know that you, dear listener, right now, who is upset at me, loves smartwatches, wears a smartwatch, has a Pebble, thinks it's amazing, and I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just not sure how many more of you there are.
Yeah.
To
if
get
it's
this
for
excited.
you and you've figured out the way to make it useful in your life, that's awesome. All I'm saying is we're not refusing to buy them because they don't come in circles.
Yeah.
That's not the problem.
We haven't hit
man.
that point, right? If it was like, hey, these things are really popular, but we can't get the executives to get on board because they look funny. Let's
Yeah.
make an elegant one. We haven't reached that. You're kind of
Figure out
shooting
what
for the
they
top.
do.
Yeah.
They have cool looking ones. That's not the issue. I like Tokyo Flash looking weird ass watches. Like I'll wear like a Nuka watch, but like, what do these do? Why do I need one? Nobody knows.
I was with Onk Watcher from the audience when he was in town, and he was excited about his Android Wear watch, and he was showing me some of the things he did on it. And so I got like, okay, this works for you. It gives you notifications that you find useful, etc. I just haven't quite cottoned to it myself.
Yeah, everybody's like, oh, you don't have to pull out your phone. I don't mind. If I'm sitting down, my phone's probably on the table in front of me. Everybody's like, oh, and you don't have to look rude by looking at your phone. Well, you know what the international sign for not paying attention to somebody was before we had smartphones?
Pocket
It was
watches.
looking at your watch.
Yeah. Pulling out that from the breast pocket and flipping
No,
it
I'm
open.
listening.
Yeah. Mike P. Kennedy pointed out the next web story that Mozilla will launch a Firefox OS phone in India this week. India is a big battleground for mobile phones, especially the bargain smartwatches, if you're not aware of that. This one's going to be called the Cloud FX, developed by Intex Technologies. Now, it has a 3.5-inch display, 1 gigahertz processor, 2 megapixel rear-facing camera, okay, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi, and dual SIM, which is important. Comes with Hindi and Tamil out of the box, as well as a bunch of other languages. Here's the kicker, though. Customers can order it from snapdeal.com for less than 2,000 rupees. That's about $33 US. That's not a subsidized price either.
Wow. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Is that, like, what if I want to order one? Can I go there and order one?
You could probably go to snapdeal.com. You'd have to figure out the shipping and the paying
Yeah.
of it, right? But I would imagine that you could work around it and get it. I don't know. Do you need Hindi and Tamil out of the box? I don't want to assume anything.
No, but that's, just in case I ever come across a need for them, I like to know that they're there.
Yeah, it's just good to have. You're
Yeah.
right. Whether you might learn them someday.
Who knows?
No, this is Firefox OS kind of digging in early. Like India's still kind of up for grabs.
Yeah.
Samsung's leading the way there, but local companies are really kind of on their heels and taking a local company and saying,
Yeah.
yes, put our phone out there.
I mean, we're already locked. We're already spoiled. So it's already kind of interesting to see these companies. It's funny when I think that these companies are actually fighting for places that I don't really think about every day, because that's where the big money is going to be in the next 5 years.
Yeah, gotcha.
So I always like seeing stories like this.
And that is a look at the headlines. Hey, real quick, there are Daily Tech News Show t-shirts available if you're interested. They have our logo, which was designed by Mustafa from thepolarcat.com, and you can get them at slashloot.com. Just hit the podcast section there. Look for the Daily Tech News Show shirt. They come in ash, gray, and white. Or actually, I'm sorry, ash is gray. White, black, and gray, or ash. They come in the color of ash from The Evil Dead.
If you call it ash instead of gray, you can probably get another $2 out of people.
Yeah,
Because that's classy.
So here's the deal. White, black, and for a limited time, ash at $2 off, making it the same price as white or black.
Will you ship it to me in a round envelope?
Well, yeah, it'll be flat on the bottom, though, because we're trying to hide some bezel.
I refuse to get into the market until it's fully round.
Slashloot.com. Fully round shirt. SLASHLOOT.com. Look for the podcast section. All right. Yes, let us talk about Amazon buying Twitch, which I was fully expected to talk about in the abstract, and then they went and made it for real. I'll be honest, like a side note to this story, Anthony, is I didn't believe it this morning when I saw it.
No, because how Google makes sense, right? Because of all the gamers that are on YouTube and streaming video and all the live products that they do, it makes a lot of sense for Google to buy Twitch. Amazon is a little more out of left field because it doesn't seem to integrate as well with things that they currently do.
It is, and it is like, right. It's obvious what Google wants. They want to fold it into YouTube. And I guess that deal was, according to Wall Street Journal today, that deal was close. And then they soured on it, reportedly because Twitch said that Google undervalued them. I feel like that's a code for they were fine with $1 billion until Bezos came along and said, we'll give you $1.1 billion. And Google said, no, we won't do that.
Yeah, and I think there's also the human factor of, are they going to let us stay open? Are they going to fold us into technology? Are we going to go away? Because right now Twitch is really, out of anybody this gaming generation, Twitch is owning everybody. Twitch is the one that's making money. Twitch is the company that you think of when you think of games currently, more so than like Xbox, more so than than PlayStation. So for them, it's kind of like, well, we're worth $1 billion now, but we could probably ride this out and still be like a viable business for whoever buys us. And I have this idea that YouTube really did want to buy them, fold them into YouTube, lock them down, because why have two live products going on?
I don't know. I feel like because Google can go either way, they can allow YouTube to continue to exist on its own, or they can fold things in, that they probably would have been smart enough to let Twitch exist on its own. and just say, well, live stuff's now at Twitch and storage of things is now at YouTube, which is why I thought we were going to get the Google announcement when Twitch made the deal of like, hey, we're not archiving things anymore, right? I thought, oh, they're gonna make a big deal about pushing things to YouTube because Google's going to buy them, right? Well, now that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, well, why aren't they archiving them? Because the infrastructure is solved either way. Obviously, Google has amazing infrastructure. Amazon has Amazon Web Service. Twitch isn't going to have any infrastructure problems now.
I feel like
but they could continue to archive things for longer. So where are they pushing them?
I feel like the archiving thing is less about structure and cost than they're saying it is, and more about the games industry smartening up and games developers smartening up about copyright infringement of their things. Because what's happening is you have a live stream for an hour or 2 hours. That's great marketing for a game. You have a guy who's live streaming 2 hours a day of the same game, or 12 hours a day of the same game in the case of a lot of these popular Twitch guys, and what they're really doing is playing through the entire game for people. And you can argue that as marketing, or you can argue that as cannibalizing your business. Because if I watch somebody play through it, unless I really love the game, am I going to sit down and play through it myself? So I think there was a lot of that going on as well. There's also some like really finicky, when a song gets licensed for a game, for a Grand Theft Auto or a Sleeping Dogs or something like that, they don't get rebroadcast rights. So you may be able, Rockstar may say to you, sure, Twitch, stream Grand Theft Auto, but then the people on the Grand Theft Auto soundtrack are like, stop using our music in internet streams.
Well, it gets complicated, right? Because then you have to find out, did Rockstar have rights to rebroadcast? Maybe they did. But then maybe they didn't. Or maybe they had them, but they didn't actually negotiate that part of the rights when they gave Twitch the license for the rebroadcasting. It's super complicated.
And who's the person who wants to sit and go through all that and figure it out?
Right.
Nobody. It's a very costly process. So I feel like by making people have to be conscious about save forever, they're really lowering the danger for themselves.
Now,
and I think.
Sure, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say they're lowering the danger for themselves, and I also think that it just makes a lot more sense overall. Like, why open yourself up to that can of worms? Like, and it was clearly done as somebody is buying us. Like, that was the reason why we all knew somebody, because it's like, dude, this is a company that's existed in the Wild West of the internet, with nobody looking over their shoulder.
They're like, crap, we need to buy a suit and clean up our copyright policies because we have meetings with Google and Amazon.
Exactly.
So it kind of didn't matter who was going to buy them. They had to clean that stuff up. You're definitely right about that. It does sound, I mean, Twitch wrote, we're keeping everything the same, our office, our employees, our brand, most importantly, our independence. It sounds like this is going to be like Amazon running IMDb or Audible or Goodreads, which people forget Amazon owns IMDb because it just exists as its own thing. I think Amazon's going to do that. Now, the question is there any other cooperation that Amazon could do with Twitch? Amazon has a game studio. People think of it as a casual game studio, but it doesn't have to be. There have been rumblings that Twitch would start developing their own games. Is that something that we could see?
Man, that's really interesting. I think if Twitch is working with the Amazon Game Studio to release games under the Twitch name to get the perception of being for a more core gaming audience, that may be interesting. I mean, Twitch currently doesn't have that sort of talent on staff. They don't have a game developer there. So it would be kind of cool to have maybe this Amazon Game Studio is being helped not just by the promotion of being guaranteed featured streaming on Twitch the week that the games get released, but maybe people from the core audience giving them the feedback they need to kind of make these games appropriate for the Twitch audience. And it would be kind of interesting to see a game studio that's thinking of streamers from the very beginning and see how that changes the mechanics of a game and the features of a game.
Yeah, especially in regards to esports, things like observer mode, broadcast tools within a game. It's really interesting stuff. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah, it could be very, very cool if they're working together on that. And it could also be great for Amazon because, like you said, right now I think of them as an offshoot of the Android puzzle gaming market.
Right.
So this could be what they need.
Yeah, could be the shot in the arm they want.
But it
right?
all feels, but it all feels a little ephemeral, though, right? Like this is all kind of us reaching for things, whereas Google just made sense.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be kind of interesting to see what happens over the next year or two.
Amazon was like, we just don't want Google to have it, is
Yeah.
kind of what I feel. And they're like, yeah, there's enough things we could do that make sense that, sure, we'll throw down $1 billion. Why
not?
Yeah. The shareholders hate us for spending money, and we have no margins anyway. It's not like they're going to get angrier.
Yeah,
Do
you
it
know,
anyway.
I think it's interesting when you think about what a long game you have to play to get into games or video on demand at this point at all. So for Amazon to just be like, well, let's buy Twitch and let's start this studio. You know, it's kind of like I always bring it back to when Microsoft released the first Xbox. I was like, this is a nightmare console. What are they doing? Nobody can use half the things of this. But Microsoft was like, F you, we have enough money in the bank. We're going to wait 5 years. And I feel like Amazon's in the same position right now. They have to play the long game to get into either of those industries.
Yeah, and they do it on the enterprise side. It's not as visible, where they buy companies and let them continue to do what they do because they're like, someday we'll need that, and it's proven to be true. They're kind
It's
of
like
a
living
hoarder.
under the benevolent protection of the mafia.
Yeah.
We will give you this money, but one day we
We'll
might
come to
need you to do something for us.
and ask for a favor. Real quickly, so we talked a lot actually already about Facebook and the clickbait crackdown. You asked the very poignant question of, can Facebook exist without clickbait? My question is, can Facebook really get clickbait out of your feed? They need people to fall for it in order for this to work, right?
Yeah. Well, for me, and this is the cynical side of me as somebody who is someone who works in media creation, I think they just want you to buy more ads. I think they're just trying to get you, because right now, nobody buys into Facebook ads. We all think Facebook ads are a very expensive waste of time. There's been a lot of proof that if you buy $20 worth of ads on a Facebook post, they will actually they'll actually kind of back count all of the clicks that you've gotten already as part of your package. Hasn't been 100% proven, but there's a lot of shady stuff going on the Facebook ad side. And I feel like they're just trying to marginalize and marginalize and marginalize more to make people feel like they need to buy Facebook ads. That's the content creator side of me. The part of me that doesn't go to Facebook because it's a horrible wasteland slime pit of terror would like to see the things that my friends actually post instead of more, bullshit link bait listicles from BuzzFeed. So who knows?
Yeah, I don't really use Facebook, so I don't have a perspective on how I would like the news feed to be. But in absentia, I guess the idea that Facebook is saying we see a fall off in usage, maybe of a small percent, but significant enough with our audience size, when there's a lot of clickbaity looking links in a feed. And so if we can get rid of those, it'll keep people using Facebook, because Facebook gets feeling associated with it when you get a bad feeling associated with the stuff you're clicking on from it.
Well, I think there are a lot of us that are just waiting, right? There's this feeling of anticipation for, when is this thing coming that lets us leave? That's why we all signed up for Google Plus in the first week, and then they had like 1,000,000% drop off, as we were all kind of hoping, well, if we all go over here, can we leave Facebook behind and stay here until this turns into a trash pile and then move on to the next thing? So I think Facebook feels that on the inside. They know that we're all waiting to jump ship. And so maybe they really are just genuinely trying to make it valuable again for people.
Yeah, no, I think this probably is a one of the Facebook changes that has probably got only upside, and they're not implementing in a bad way. Because your only objection to it is the objection to the way the newsfeed works entirely, which is, I want to decide what shows up in my newsfeed, not you. But that's just not the way it works.
Yeah. My only problem with Facebook is the entirety of how Facebook works.
Yes.
I have one small problem with Facebook.
Just that. If they could just fix that, right?
The little detail, everything you do is garbage. Could you not do garbage? And then I'll come back.
It's a bug. File it.
Yeah. I would love to do that. Bug report. You're garbage. Are you planning on fixing the fact that you're garbage?
P1 bug. This is, yeah. All right, a quick look at the calendar. On this day, August 25th, in 1991, 21-year-old Finnish student Linus Torvalds wrote a newsgroup post about a free operating system he was working on. He said, "It's just a hobby. Won't be big and professional like GNU." But then, of course,
And that operating system was BOS.
it was BOS for Windows.
It was Microsoft Bob.
Our pick of the day comes from Dr. Carl. Do you play Hearthstone, Anthony?
I play a little bit of Hearthstone. I don't get super deep into Hearthstone like a lot of other people.
This weekend, I finally bought packs of cards for the first time. I'd only bought one pack of card during the beta.
You made a purchase.
Yeah, I bought 40 packs of cards and streamed it on Twitch. That was the first time I'd ever streamed on Twitch, actually.
Jeff Bezos presents Twitch.
And then they go and they get bought. I'm just saying, I created value that allowed Twitch to get $1 billion from Jeff Bezos.
It was probably that. It was probably you unpacking your cards.
Dr. Carl wanted to make Hearthstone the pick of the week. It's from Blizzard Entertainment, features characters from the World of Warcraft universe. As someone who never played WoW, Dr. Carl says, on its face, it didn't sound that interesting. But as someone who played a little Magic back in the day, the second I loaded this onto my iPad, I was hooked. You can play with your friends or random people in friendly matches, ranked matches, or an arena mode where you draft a deck and then play it on the spot. The game is packed with excellent graphics, animations, and music, ever-expanding content, and a vast and active community. It's free to play with in-app purchases that aren't totally required because you can earn gold to make purchases as well within the game. Available for PC, Mac, and iPad with Windows 8 and Android tablet support coming soon. He says, too much fun not to pass along.
I gotta say, the two things that I love about Hearthstone are, number one, like you said, it's free to play, and it doesn't feel like they're taking advantage of you. You can really do a lot without ever making a purchase. I know a lot of people that have never made a purchase and still have a lot of fun with the game and have a very good win-loss ratio. I also it's really cool as somebody who couldn't get into the finickiness and the overly collectible nature of Magic the Gathering. It was kind of cool to have a streamlined card game that's really fun that you can pick up and kind of get from the outset and not feel like you have to be really deep into the scene to be able to play. But it's still fun for deep players. They've done a really good job with it.
Yeah, that easy to play, hard to master thing that they're trying to crack, they've done a great job with. I agree. Send your picks to feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com, and you can find my picks at dailytechnewsshow.com/picks. Our message of the day comes from Tim, who watches a weekly podcast in North Carolina called Computers 2K Now. He's known the host Ammon since back in the BBS days, and he pointed out they have a free calendar of shows that anybody who does a podcast can get on. Anthony?
Oh.
It's called whenisiton.net. There's a little form on the left. If you have a podcast, you click on, you tell him when your podcast is on, and he'll add it to the calendar. So,
well, I have a podcast.
I know. It made me think of you because I was like,
people like me.
Who do I know that has a pod? Anthony has a podcast. He'll be interested.
You probably use it just to keep track of when you have to be on podcasts. You have 37. You're like, which one am I doing right now? Let me go to whenisiton.net. Oh, this
will
is
come
the
in
one
handy.
I'm doing.
Yeah. So thank you for that, Tim. Tim, by the way, is Architect in the chat room, and I have defended him greatly in many times when people are like, you're trying to imitate Tom's stupid username, and he's like, no, I'm not. My name is Architect because I'm an actual architect.
How dare you?
Yeah. So thank you, Tim. Appreciate that. Don't forget, folks, patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. And if you're like, well, wait a minute, I'm not just going to give money to Anthony. Why not? Look at him.
Number one, just give money to me. Number one.
Number two.
I'm a dude. I need money.
Yeah. Who doesn't?
Right?
You could also go to wehaveconcerns.com and actually enjoy the show, which I know you will.
Yeah. I feel like pay up front because it's going to be real good. And then go enjoy the No. Yeah, go check it out. Absolutely. We do it Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And it's a short show. It's like 20, 25 minutes at the longest. It's a great show to listen to while you're driving, while you're working out, while you're doing whatever it is you're doing. And we have a lot of fun with it, and hopefully you guys will like it.
Yep, check it out. Wehaveconcerns.com. You can follow Anthony on Twitter, twitter.com/acarboni. Thank you, sir, for joining us today.
Absolutely. I should also say, if any of you guys are going to be at PAX this weekend, I'm going to be on 2 panels. Saturday at 7:30 p.m. in the Hedgehog Theater, I'm going to be on the Chainsaw Suit panel. And then Sunday at 11 a.m. in the Sasquatch Theater. I'm going to be on a panel called Video Games Are Stupid, because video games are stupid and that is what makes them great. So if you're there, come listen. And I think they'll be streaming those live too. So go to PAX site and check that out.
Fantastic. God, I hate that PAX and Dragon Con are at the same time.
Right? I will never go to a Dragon Con. That's what that means.
No, I know. Thank you to our patrons, 4,239 folks that are helping us out because they see some value in the show and they give some value back. We truly appreciate your support. It's what makes the show possible to do. You can find out all the ways to support the show at dailytechnewsshow.com/donate. Don't forget, speaking of Dragon Con, this Thursday will be a headlines-only show. Because I'll be traveling to Dragon Con. It might be recorded on a plane with Justin Robert Young.
Whoa, that would be awesome.
We'll see if we can get away with that. Friday, it's DTNS After Dark, live from Dragon Con with Jonathan Strickland as our guest. Be recorded late, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Then Monday is Labor Day in the United States, so another headline show, and I'm also traveling back from Dragon Con. Then, heads up, I'm going on a patron-approved vacation later the week after that. We have amazing guests lined up for while I'm gone.
Cool, man.
More on that later. Don't forget, subreddit, dailytechnewsshow.reddit.com, email feedback at dailytechnewsshow.com, phone 51259daily, and live mobile.alphageekradio.com. Our website is dailytechnewsshow.com. We'll be back tomorrow with Anthony Carbone's nemesis, Molly Wood. See you then.
Curse you, Wood. Curse, damn your eyes.
This podcast is part of the Frog Pants Studios Network. For more information about this and other shows, visit frogpants.com. Audio program so good, it's like you're there.
What does it feel like to have to get like 3,000 people to approve your vacation?
It took a long time for the form to come back.
You got to put in a request and just get it, like, take it to 3,000 different cubicles.
You get all the stamps.
Yeah.
No, it was hilarious because I put that in a patron update. I was like, hey, I want to take a vacation. I hope you approve. You know, tongue in cheek. But also like, I want to make sure you guys are okay with the fact that, the show's going to be gone for a little bit. And everybody was really nice. They're like, as your boss, I approve your vacation. So I was very flattered by that.
Wow, that's cool, man.
Or if they didn't write me.
Right.
put it that way.
We did lose 50 patrons that day.
We did cut our money in half.
There's sort of like a silent thing going on, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, man. We going on vacation? You're going to Dragon Con, and then what else?
Going to Rome.
Shoot.
RomeCon.
Yeah.
You're gonna ride scooters?
Probably steal one.
Yeah. Steal scooters and drink.
Like I'll knock a delivery
coffee.
man off of a Vespa, and then I'll be like in a chase scene with like a wicker basket full of fruit, and the fruit's falling out as I weave my way, trying to lose my tail.
Like a cross between GTA and Roman Holiday.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
the
exactly.
reboot of Roman Holiday that we've all waited for.
And a musical.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to throw a musical number in there.
Right. Why not?
Well, cool, man. Well, thanks for having me on again.
Yeah, of course. I'm just going to hang out as I do afterwards and stream video and edit and stuff, but you don't have to stick around if you need to go take off.
I'm down to hang for a couple minutes.
Yeah, however long you want.
Sure.
No problem.
What's going on in the little chatty chat? Because I'll tell you what, I got real into talking about that Twitch thing, and I wasn't looking at chat as much as I normally do. Hi, chat.
And they're suggesting titles for the show right now.
Oh, little Showbot.
Yeah.
What's up, Showbot? What do we got? Google blinks Amazon Twitches. Man, if Beatmaster, if you weren't born to work in a 1940s newsroom, I don't know who was. That is great. I'm putting a vote on that one.
That's running away with it. Amazon scratches a Twitch ain't bad, Suncast.
I just feel like Clark Gable is calling stories into Beatmaster. Here's what I got for you.
On his Roman vacation.
Oh man. I just grabbed this game. Do you play the horror games? Do you play horror games? Do you enjoy them?
Some. Most horror games end up being first-person shooters, and I suck at first-person it's not the horror that
Right.
keeps me away.
I just grabbed one called Five Nights at Freddy's, where
Uh-huh.
you are the night security guard at what is basically a Chuck E. Cheese, and the animatronic creatures come to life at night, and you kind of sit at a board and control cameras like that game Night Trap. You remember Night Trap?
Yeah.
Where you controlled yeah, it's kind of like that, but you're trying to keep an eye on these animatronic figures because they don't move when they're watched, apparently.
Oh, so they're like weeping angels?
Yeah, it's supposed to be a real creep show. So I'm kind of into that. I'm really into horror games recently.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know why. I just got, you know what I think it is it's the switch that's happened recently to first person perspective,
Uh-huh.
because now I feel like I'm genuinely watching it through my own eyes to a certain
Right.
extent, which I don't like in shooters and stuff. Like I've never been super into first person shooters, but there's something about actually looking through the eyes of the person walking through the creepy haunted house. You know what I mean? That really changed it all for me.
So is it more puzzle-y then, or?
I don't know yet. From what I understand, it's kind of like there's a little bit of resource management because there's only a certain amount of electricity every night to run the cameras.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's kind of like, and then as soon as you run out of cameras and security doors, like you kind of just have to hide from the creatures.
Oh, crap.
I'm kind of into it. The thing that I played recently, we got people in the chat who have played it. Gord McLeod says Five Nights at Freddy's is terrible, and by terrible I mean terrifyingly horrific. Into it.
That's a recommendation right there.
Yeah, that is a recommendation. El Caliph is saying I'm playing Elite Dangerous, which is the first-person spaceship game on the Oculus.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the Oculus is good for cockpit.
Do you
games,
have one?
man. I don't have one yet because I'm waiting. I don't want to be an early adopter of a real high-tech gaming thing. You know what I mean? I want the final consumer version.
Right.
We had one at the Rev 3 office when I was there, and I have friends that have it, and it's fun for certain things. First-person horror is one of the things that it's really, really fun for, because there are a lot of games where, you know, think about a game where the ghosts can only come at you when you're not looking at them,
Right.
and you're running down the dark hallway, but you're really running down the dark hallway.
Well, and peripheral vision comes into play a lot better in a horror game.
Oh,
And
for
you've
sure.
got, you know, when something out of the corner of your eye, you're like, what the hell is that? I
Yeah,
can totally
it's-
see that.
It's really, really good for horror, and it's really, really good for cockpit stuff. I played a cockpit game that the guys who made EVE Online created called Valkyrie.
Uh-huh.
Which,
Oh, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Yeah, so to paint your targets for your missiles, you look around, and anytime your eye locks onto a target, that target is locked for a missile burst.
Oh, jeez.
And so it becomes like this really natural way to pilot this spaceship. And then I was like
Air
looking
Force
for all
needs
the
that.
I was looking for all the complex instrumentation you usually have in a spaceship game, because I was like, how am I supposed to tell if they're coming up behind me? And then the guy, like, I said that out loud, forgetting that I was sitting in a booth where a guy was demoing it for me, and he's like, just look behind you, dude.
You turn around.
And I was like, oh, there are dudes behind me.
That's amazing. I
Yeah.
mean, it would still be handy to have something to alert you, but you're right. You could just look.
Yeah, other than a basic radar, you don't really need anything anymore. It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. So I'm into it, but I'm waiting because I do want to buy the final one, because the jump from first gen to second gen tech, because they've released 2 developer kits now, and the second developer kit was leaps and bounds ahead of the first
Right.
one. So I'll wait another year. I'm cool.
That's exactly where I am. Where I've tried it out a couple times and enjoyed it, but I to own it.
Yeah. What you doing over there, Jenny?
What is she doing? I'm not watching.
She's just drawing a little headband. The draw tool is just great.
Doing a little free advertising for the Emmys tonight. Emmys are on tonight. On this channel. NBC.
Did you watch the VMAs? Did you guys watch the VMAs?
Eileen was watching it, so yeah, I was exposed to its raw radiation.
We were watching the
That looks like
VMAs.
a horror video game.
Yeah. This is what Tom looks like on an Oculus first-person horror. I watched it. My favorite thing that, because Jess is really into them, and my favorite thing that she said during it was we were just eating food, and she turns to me and she's got like food all over the side of her face, and she's like, "I was staring at Nicki Minaj so hard I missed my mouth." And I was like, I know that feel.
Yeah. I actually thought Taylor Swift's ad-lib about the snake was pretty good.
That was pretty good ad lib.
Presence of mind right there.
She's good. I like her.
Yeah, I do too. I have
was
no
actually-
problems with her.
I gotta say though, one thing that Jess turned and said to me was, "How come they're having so many technical issues? Haven't they been doing the VMAs for a really long time?" Like there was a point where you could hear the crew trying to get Taylor to her position.
Yes,
And there was a
I
point where
noticed that too.
they were rolling packages early and late a lot. It was very interesting. And she was like, aren't they supposed to know how to do this? And I was like, well, live is hard.
I think it
Live
was
is hard.
also being at the Forum, no? Because this is the first time they've had a big event like that at the new Forum in Inglewood.
Oh, that's probably what did it too.
Is that right, Jenny? Am I right about that?
I think a big television event.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if it's about getting people places, then yeah, that's a problem. There shouldn't be any reason why the production truck is significantly impaired, that they're switching out the wrong stuff on
Yeah,
the
that's a
air
good
unless
point.
they went with a new company. But you never know.
One thing that was kind of interesting to me was seeing Sway there on the red carpet. And I was like, Sway, weren't you part of MTV News? I guess there's no MTV News anymore. I guess this is what you do now. And I just felt bad for him. I was like, I'm sorry, Sway. You joined a news bureau, and now it's gone. But who's everybody wearing?
I'm more excited about the Emmys. I like the TV shows.
I don't think I watch enough TV. I feel like I'm going to be out of the loop.
Yeah, that's a problem for all you internet babies, huh?
You big dumb babies, get a television.
Over the air.
Yep, over the air Romeo. Romeo.
I guess I can watch and see if The Leftovers or Doctor Who or
Too early for those, though. Like, you're behind. So.
Oh right.
And besides, they're still giving out awards to The Good Wife, so.
Oh, The Good Wife.
Got a couple years.
Yeah. I've
It's a
watched
good
some
show.
Good Wife.
It's a good
I like The
it's
Good
a good
Wife.
show.
I
But
don't
I'm
watch it
saying,
enough
like,
to watch it regularly.
The big question is, what will Orange Is the New Black clean up at the
Yeah.
Emmys? That's the evening's big question.
I want Netflix and Amazon shows to win everything. I want this transition to be sped along.
Mm-hmm.
That's
I think the showrunners are finally starting to appreciate these reasonable places where they can make shows that don't get canceled, that get picked up, by the way, after their first episode for a second season.
Yeah, I mean, well, you can't and you also just can't argue with how good the shows are anymore. The first couple were,
Yeah,
questionable, like
Myth-
Lillehammer and stuff like that. I was like, whatever.
Yeah.
Man, like the second House of Cards hit, I was like, you can't argue with this anymore.
Nope.
You just can't argue with this anymore. This is where it is.
Amazon has yet to get their, like, Alpha House is okay. It's kind of funny.
I guess. Meh.
But they haven't got theirs yet.
I tried to watch their pilot season, and I watched 3 or 4 of the different pilots. Welcome to the Cord Killers post show, by the way, everybody.
Yeah.
And
I always make the show turn hard right into Cord Killers. That's
Our
my
post show is off topic. That's what it is.
But yeah, I tried to watch a lot of their pilot season, and I was like, I don't know. I think part of their problem is people just don't think of them. You and I have had this discussion a couple times. They're a place where I get toilet paper through the mail. I'm not ready to think of them as like my main video outlet yet, and so because of that, when they release a new show, they don't get the amount of people checking it out that Netflix does.
But if they had released an Orange Is the New Black, it would have changed your mind. That's my counter argument is that's true because they haven't had a big hit show that everybody's like, oh yeah, I've got to watch that. They've had Betas,
Right.
which is a poor man's Silicon Valley. They've had Alpha House, which is a comedic House of Cards. You know, and they've had lots of other shows on there now
They had
too.
that terrible Zombieland.
Oh,
watch that
the
terrible-
pilot? Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And I think that confuses people too, because they put these pilots out, which is cool to get feedback. Like, you help us greenlight the pilot, but then it confuses people because they think that that's actually those are the shows that are coming.
Right.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
the Onion News Empire thing was so close to being really funny.
Yeah. Well, and for a
So-
pilot, I feel like, well, okay, keep going. Like, maybe you can crack this.
Yeah,
I
it's kind of a
I
bummer.
think everything Tom says is to be taken much more seriously with his Satan eyes.
Yeah. I don't know if
I
these,
don't know why that would cause a problem.
I don't know if this reads as like the mad scientist pointy side hair that I wanted it to read as, or if it's reading as horns.
Reading a little to the satanic side, I'd say.
Yeah.
I was
don't know.
thinking of it more as a Warcraft kind of demonic
That's fair. Sigil.
sigil. Yeah.
Sigil.
I'm a
There we
worgen.
go.
Yeah.
Now we can actually make eye contact with you. Before we couldn't tell where you were looking.
There we go.
Yeah.
There we go.
These toys are great. Nobody uses the toys enough.
I know.
You don't play
I
with
love
the
it.
toys you have. Internet.
You don't need anything new. God.
Showcase. No items.
Draw is not supported on this user's platform. How do I turn draw off though?
You don't. You leave
Anthony
it on.
has to do it.
You basically have to delete it.
No, you have to. You
Aw.
click the button again.
You turned it off.
You click the button and it goes away.
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I didn't even realize I did that. All right.
Tom's a serious newsman, and he couldn't take that. He couldn't take that anymore. That character assassination that I was doing.
Oh, I
No.
didn't save it either.
No, it doesn't save it. Everything is ephemeral.
Oh man.
Gatowag says, "I thought Tom was turning into a Tekken character," and that is a good reference.
Tekken is a better reference.
Solid-
Yes.
solid
Well done.
reference.
Gatawag has won the post show.
You did it.
Congratulations.
You did it, everybody.
Pick up your prize package from Brian Brushwood's wallet.
Somebody actually put into Showbot "pay first, watch later," and
I think that you should
I'm
you should
fine
do
with being known
like
for that.
we have concerns operates on a value for value model. If you give us enough value on our
Yeah.
Patreon, we'll get better.
Maybe you give me $1, and maybe the show doesn't suck anymore. I don't
Yeah.
know.
We're just saying. Patreon goes, the better we'll get.
We're just saying it really motivates us when there's a little more money in the pocket, you know?
Yeah. Are we gonna phone it in if all we get is $5 a month? Sure, you would too.
Let's get really real.
Oh man. All right. I am out of the posts, Jenny, and
Okay.
we are done
Oh, I still have to do
for
show
the
notes.
day.
All right.
Thanks
Thanks
everybody.
again, dudes.
Goodbye, video.
Bye, everyone.